So I get like 5 questions a day of how do you onboard clients? And I feel like a lot of people get held up on starting a business or doing anything like that when it comes to the onboarding process. And that's such a silly reason to not go through with it because it's such a simple process that once you dial it down, once you lock it in, you really don't have to ever change anything or fix anything at all. Like it literally is just a one-size-fits-all onboarding process that works for every single client, and then you never have to worry about onboarding ever again. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. Now this is gonna be a very no fluff, no crazy editing, nothing for your guys' engagement. It's just gonna be a completely educational video on how to onboard clients from start to finish using the exact SOPs that I actually use on a day-to-day basis in my business. So let's jump right in. Now, this is the document right here, and basically it is a document I will run you through, and it goes through every single step in the entire onboarding process for like the maximum efficiency, because sometimes these calls can run for a long time. But for a little bit of context, this is for like an AI type agency or like an SMMA kind of in the newer style with the AI stuff. So basically how this process would go up until this point is you would have to booked an appointment with someone and basically go on a sales call, close them, actually collect the cash and collect the money up front. And then basically the next call is the onboarding call, right? So you always want to set up a next touch point for them, and this would be the next one after that sales call. So let's jump right in. This document is used to describe the onboarding process and how it should go. This will be taken on a Zoom call instead of a Google Meet because we want them to screen share so we can remote control their screen. This is sauce. Basically, there's some complicated onboarding stuff, and a lot of these clients are a little bit older, maybe a little bit not technically proficient. And so what we want to do is actually have them screen share on Zoom, so we can literally just remote control, like request to remote control their screen and then control it and do the stuff for them. Right? Super, super simple. But before you and your client attend this call, it's crucial that they've filled out some kind of onboarding form, right? You need some information on them in the back end so you can go ahead and set things up, fill them up, create a login on their Go High level. And if they haven't filled it out yet, either reschedule this onboarding call or just have them do it on the call with you. So right when you jump on the actual onboarding call, okay, make sure the onboarding form is filled out on your screen, and you want to do a few things just for homework purposes, right? Hi, how are you doing? And then basically say, awesome. So there's a few things that we're gonna go through in these calls, kind of like a mini set frame, if you will. I wanna get to know you guys a little bit more and see why you decided to join us. We'll complete some quick housekeeping tasks to make sure we've got everything we need. We'll go over what the next 90 days will look like, or however long the service term is that you're providing. And I'll answer any questions that you have at the end. And I told you guys, like, this is not gonna be a entertaining video. Like, I'm literally gonna explain to you exact what works. And if you want to know how to actually get the clients in the first place to actually fuel this and actually have people to onboard, there's like a link in the description with some stories about how other people have as well. But basically, you got to tell them that we're taking notes, that we got about 60 minutes, and that we are going to take them for you, etc. So we can just kind of jump right into things. But first of all, you want to go over like any outstanding questions, because sometimes they'll have questions about like the agreement or like the payment terms or like something like that. So you want to make sure you just cover all those questions in the beginning so you don't have to worry about them in the future, right? So the first thing that I really recommend is diving into their business and creating an ICP. So if you create an ideal client profile for every single client that you onboard, after 30 or so clients, you'll have just lists of like facts and details about these guys that you can either put into AI or just like use to actually just like make new systems and make more things that'll work and figure out latent conditions and all that good stuff. So creating an ICP is very important. So I actually recommend asking them again what the revenue goal is. A lot of people in the onboarding process just do the onboarding, right? They just set up the client profile, they just add them to the ads manager, and that's the easy stuff, right? This is the most important stuff. You have to create an ICP, you have to label the problem, figure out what the problem is, what the revenue goal is, their biggest challenge, why it didn't work out very well. And the reason why I say this is because when you're on a sales call with them, your goal is to sell them, right? Or I guess your goal is to help them, see if you can help them, and by doing so, you sell them, right? On an onboarding call, you have to sell them again. And I think a lot of people, what they don't understand is that when they have clients, you have to constantly be selling to them. Like every single touch point, every single call, every single conversation with them is a chance to keep selling them. They need to keep being sold, right? So it seems like X is the biggest challenge. Why didn't it work out too well? And then basically the reason why I asked this, got it. So then we actually go ahead and create the ICP. So we take their current monthly revenue, goal monthly revenue, what they've tried in the past, the problem they've faced, when trying to get there, the reason why they want to achieve this goal, the monetary reason, the non-monetary reason, and additional notes. And then basically confirm some other key information that should have been on that onboarding form. So these are some things that you want to confirm that should have already been on the onboarding form. But basically you want to explain the pathway to achieve their goals, right? So it's like, great, we have of good understanding about your guys' company and about what you guys do. That being said, I want to give you a high-level overview about how we're going to actually go ahead and achieve your goals, because we have some systems that we're going to put into place now that you've been a part of our team, and we are going to go ahead and actually explain how we're going to basically get those ads launched so we can get those inspections or get those whatever coming in as soon as possible. Sound good? And then you basically give them another pitch, right? And a lot of people don't do this. Like, I've seen so many onboarding calls from other people, and they just kind of like, Facebook integration, add them, go high level, done. But it's like, this stuff is honestly more important, because like, if you can keep selling them, they will stay with you longer and they will make you more money. I mean, I have clients that have paid me over $30,000 in their lifetime, and it's like, you have, and I can maybe put one on the screen here or something, but you have to understand that this is a very, very specific process for a reason. We need to like actually sell them and not just skip to the shiny stuff, right? So then you go over what you actually do, and step 2 is to sign off on the agreement. So if you guys already haven't like signed on an agreement yet, you got to make sure that you go and do that. And you can send agreements via Go High Level, DocuSign, PandaDoc, whatever it is. But the point is, you need an agreement, and basically to explain the terms, to basically protect you as well. Because if they're like outraging and they just leave you all of a sudden, but then you have a clause in your guarantee that says like if they leave in a certain time, then you get all of the money back, like whatever it is, right? You need safety. Step 3 is Slack. So basically this is when you kind of like set up the communication platform between you guys. So whether it's Slack, whether it's iMessage, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Discord, I've even seen, you want to just set up a communication platform between you guys to make sure that you guys can communicate. Slack is by far the best, because we can have automations go into Slack and give them like 2 channels, one for their leads, one for you to communicate with them, etc. So you go ahead and invite them to Slack. Step 4 is the shiny process, right? This is what everyone's worried about. It's like, oh, will I be able to add my Facebook? Like whatever the bullshit is. So if they don't already have an account, just have them go create one. If not, then basically have them screen share on Zoom, and then press like the 3 dots next to like their screen share and press request mode control to control their screen. And what you do is just, if they don't already have a Facebook account, just go log into the Facebook account or create a new page. And then basically you want to go to Ads Manager, go to the 3 lines, like the all tools. I've done this so much, I know exactly what it looks like. Go to all tools, it's like the 3 lines. And then basically go to business settings, which is the little gear. And then you choose the correct business page that they have. And if they don't have one as well, you should have made one for them. And then basically you go to settings and you go to users and you go to people, and then you press invite people in the top right, it'll be a blue button. And then you just go ahead and add your email and add full control, next, and press manage. And then basically select the page, scroll down, choose everything in their row, and then go ahead and invite yourself to their page. And once you have that, you will get an email to your personal email that's linked with your Facebook account that'll basically invite you to their page. And you just click that, you open it up, and then you basically log in, and then you have access to their page and their business manager. So you can go to the ads manager, you can add payment methods, you can do everything you need to do. Now, the next step, while you're still on their screen share, is to go ahead and add a payment method. So go back to Ads Manager, go to All Tools, the 3 lines again, the gear again with the business settings, go to Billing and Payments, Payment Methods, and go ahead and add their payment method on file. So basically what this is going to do is auto charge their card for ad spend, and this is really important. You don't want to be paying for your own ad spend or for your client's ad spend. So go ahead and do that, and then once you do that, it's about content. So on their onboarding form, you should have requested that they have filled out, some form to like give you content and actually like give you pictures, give you some videos or something. It's not mandatory, because like I usually use stock footage for most of my guys, but if they want to use, it depends on what content they want to use. If they want to use ours, then it's fine. If they want to use theirs, then they should have submitted it already. But if not, you want to make sure you get that content on the call now. You want to be prepared. You want to have everything ready to go before you actually go ahead and make these ads, now that you have access to their ads manager. So step 5 is all about content. You get the content and basically go ahead and ask for questions. And then you literally just book the launch call. Okay. Lastly, you want to set up a date and set up the next touch point about the launch call. So a lot of people don't even know about this call, and the onboarding call is important, right? Because you actually get like some finite details about them, and you're in their Facebook and all that good stuff. But the launch call is very, very important. This is more important than the onboarding by far. And the reason why I say that is because having clients that stay with you is all about expectations and alignment. And if you set expectations with them that you're going to get them X amount of work or X amount of jobs or X amount of money, and they don't get that, they will leave you. And you will lose a lot of money, because it costs a lot more money to get new clients than to keep your current ones, right? So it's very, very important that this launch call helps that process. And what it does is basically realigns the expectations and slowly dwindles down. Because on the sales call, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of confidence, there's a lot of good feeling stuff. It's like, oh, we're going to help you get XYZ with this, whatever system. And it's like, they expect a certain result. Maybe they expect 6 jobs a month in the, sales call. On the onboarding call, you can dwindle it down and be like, okay, you guys are looking realistically for like 3 to 4 jobs a month. That'll help. And then on the launch call, you even bottle down the expectations a little bit more. So they're a little bit, you're like, it's starting out slow. First month we might get 1 or 2 jobs. Next month we might get 3 or 4. Month after that, maybe 5 to 6 is what we've been looking for. This is a process. This will take a little bit longer. It's not going to be instant, right? And by setting expectations on that launch call, it is going to save you a lot of money because these guys will actually stay with you and not churn instantly. So it's about 40 minutes and you basically show them the entire process. So what I recommend is doing all the high level stuff on the launch call. So like giving them a login, making sure they can log in to see their leads, etc. But you want to set a goal on the when you book that launch call, be like, the goal is to launch within 5 to 7 days from now, the ads. So we want to schedule that launch call around that time, so then we can basically go over how this process looks, so you're not confused along the way, and more importantly, we can know like what to expect as well. So that is good, and that is basically time for you to build out the Facebook, build out the back end, build out the Go High level, buy the domains, make sure the Cloudflare is hooked up, and like connect the Go High level to their Facebook, and make sure that the forms are all ready and everything is working and tested out, etc. And basically you do that. And then communication expectations. So like you say so between now and between that launch call, which is like 6 days from now, whatever we set the time for, basically it's going to be a little bit quiet, okay? We're not going to be, you're not going to be hearing very much from us. And the reason why is because we're building out everything as fast as possible. After that launch call, we will be very, very we will communicate with you a lot, right? We'll communicate with you every single day about updates, about things. And because it's really important that after you launch them, after their ads are launched, you have a 14-day messaging period that'll basically have them, because that first 14 days is so important to sell them. So if you want access to that, link in the description, reach out, let me know. But anyways, and then the last thing is like if they ever feel lost or they're wondering what the next milestone or next goal is, or if they're confused about anything, they can just message us in Slack. And they're basically, you gotta give them expectations about like replying messages and like when you will be replying, all that good stuff. And we're going to build out stuff, give you updates, and then basically set expectations, say month 1 is always the slowest, no matter what. Month 1 is always the slowest. It's about building things up, it's about getting things ready, it's about Facebook learning. And because of that, the goal is to get the ads live and just get a little bit of data, so then from there on, we can actually improve the process and get you some work coming in by month 2 and 3. And that's so important because if you don't do that, these guys will leave you because actually it does take time for Facebook to learn, it takes time to media buy, right? So it's very, very important. And and if they don't get any leads in the first week of the campaign, that's completely normal. Before I actually implemented this like a while ago, I had a client that left me after a week because there were no leads coming in. And this just shows the power of expectation setting. And there's even more on the launch call that is very, very important, and honestly probably the most important parts of this process. And once again, if you want to know how we can help you and do all this and actually get some clients in the door to actual onboard, you can check out some case studies in the description. There's like a few links. You can just click one and just kind of see it out. But basically, this is the entire onboarding call process in its entirety. Now, it's very, very important that you not like dial this down. There's ways you can speed things up with automations and do things, with AI and all that BS. But this is the bare minimum of what you need to do to be able to onboard people successfully. If you don't do the expectation setting, if you don't do the ICP and all this stuff, then you're going to have a harder time in the future because this is like built for long-term success, right? We don't care about fucking short-term wins, short-term gains. We care about long-term success and a reliable system that works over a long period of time, right? So that is how to basically onboard people. If you have any questions, just reach out in the description. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.